Tonight, the family of a murdered teen faces alleged killer in court.
And I hope that you guys understand what you put our families through.
17-year-old Jordan Henry was shot and killed at a house party in Brampton on New Year's Eve. Plus, we're getting a first look at the new cannabis edibles set to hit the market starting next week. But will it be enough to lure users back from the black market? And
so this is the biggest jackpot ever offered in Canadian history.
Canadians vie for the chance to win a record-breaking Lotto Max jackpot with $70 million up for grabs. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. Tensions spilled outside a courtroom in Brampton today as first-degree murder charges were laid in a New Year's Eve shooting that killed 17-year-old Jordan Henry. After the court proceedings, a confrontation broke out between Henry's family and family members of one of the accused. Police had to step in to separate them. Outside, one of Henry's sisters talked to reporters. Shannon Martin has more.
He just didn't deserve this. If I can give him my life, he deserves to live, and I would rather go. When I found out that my brother was shot and he did not make it that night, I nearly lost my mind. I didn't know what to do.
One of Jordan Henry's older sisters, Jody, asked us not to show her face. The family's still in the grips of shock, grief, and pain.
I'm so numb, I can't cry anymore because it's just unbelievable. I still don't believe that my brother has passed, and I'm still waiting for him to come home to go in his room to play 2K because that's all that he does.
It was just minutes before New Year's when the 17-year-old was gunned down at a house party. Jody told us her brother didn't know many people there. Neighbors reported seeing as many as 50 teens running from the house. Police arrived to find Henry, but there was nothing they could do to save him.
My favorite moment with Dave is when
This video taken by one of his bosses shows the grade 12 student goofing around. He was popular, a promising football player, looking forward to graduation and university.
He's the best kid that I ever know, man. Is that kid never go out playing game.
Peel homicide detectives charged 2 people. 22-year-old Zakaria Hassan of Hamilton is charged with first-degree murder. And 20-year-old Rukshar Wahab of Kitchener is charged with accessory after the fact. The relationship, if any, between them and Henry is unknown.
So take this message from me.
Outside the courthouse, Henry's sister talks directly to the accused.
And I hope that you guys understand what you put our families through, because this child did not deserve it. No innocent child deserved to get killed because of ignorance, because you're cowards, because you want to use a gun.
Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
Next week will be a shortened one for high school students in Brampton, Mississauga, and Windsor. The union representing public high school teachers is targeting school boards in those cities for its next one-day strike. The OSSTF members will walk off the job on Wednesday, January 8th, in 8 school boards, including Peel, the Greater Essex County Board, and the Niagara Board. Toronto public high schools are not affected this time around. This will be the 4th one-day strike held by the union. Talks with the province were set to resume this month, but they haven't set a date. New cannabis products will start rolling out to legal stores starting next week, including chocolate, chewables, and cookies. Lauren Pelly shows us what's on the menu.
Starting Monday, all these cannabis products will be legal across the province. And within weeks, the Ontario Cannabis Store says they'll be ready to buy online and on store shelves.
We know that Ontarian adults have been waiting for these products for a long period of time.
The prices range from more than $100 for some vaping products to under $16 for candy edibles.
There are 59 products in total in this latest offering, everything from vapes to gummies to chocolates and cookies and even a cannabis tea.
We're really excited that these are going to help us combat the illegal market a lot more effectively.
But will customers make the switch? Right now, government-sold edibles can contain up to 10 milligrams of THC, lining up with Health Canada regulations. At illicit shops, you can find products with 10 times the potency for around the same price.
10 milligrams is the max? I'm sorry, that's just funny.
People we spoke to say regulated products can't compare to the black market.
They have like more potent cannabis And sometimes it's cheaper. I mean, it's definitely cheaper than the government shops.
Sometimes the governmental products are not as authentic maybe, or they just don't have as much of an effect, or I find them just a little bit more overpriced for the actual product.
I have this feeling about it though that rolling out sanctioned cannabis sales has not been pretty well thought through.
So far, the OCS has struggled with delivery delays and lost tens of millions of dollars in the last fiscal year, despite launching a website and multiple bricks and mortar stores. Now officials warn their latest offerings could sell out quick.
There will be very limited supply when it comes to the variety of products as well as the quantity.
More products will keep hitting the market in the months ahead, giving customers time to figure out if government vapes and edibles are worth the cash or just a buzzkill. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the draw was at 10:30, but they still haven't released the winning numbers for tonight's record-setting Lotto Max. But if you're refreshing your screen looking for those numbers, let me save you some time. You didn't win, neither did I. And the odds that I'm wrong on that are actually pretty slim. Greg Ross tells us why.
It's the hottest ticket in town.
We definitely see an increase in ticket sales once we hit a $50 million jackpot. Because that's
And OLG spokesperson Dita Kute says there's been an increase in ticket sales today with $70 million on the line for tonight's Lotto Max draw with 10 additional $1 million prizes.
So this is the biggest jackpot ever offered in Canadian history.
And many were already counting their money long before the draw.
Let me see, are those the winning numbers right there?
Yeah.
They are the winning numbers.
Should be the winning number.
This woman bought a $5 ticket and was already dreaming about what she could buy with the jackpot.
Maybe a boat. I've never had a boat before.
This man runs a lottery pool at work.
I got $50 worth of Lotto Max.
He's hoping more tickets will help increase their odds of winning. But U of T statistics professor Jeffrey Rosenthal says it won't help much.
You are about 5 times more likely to die in a car crash on your way to the store if you're driving to buy a ticket.
The odds of winning the Lotto Max are 1 in 33.2 million. Odds so bad that, well,
you're about 8 times more likely that if you pick someone at random, that they will one day be the Prime Minister of Canada. If you pick an adult woman at random, the chance of winning the jackpot is the same as the chance that this random woman will give birth in the next 40 seconds.
The list goes on and on.
Do you think it'd be better for people to just put that money into a bank and save it?
Well, I do. In terms of maximizing your profit, the smartest thing to do is not to buy lottery tickets at all. Now, if you figure...
But where's the fun in that? Besides, if your numbers do come up, think about all of the people you could help.
My children, adult children, and I would help my nieces and nephews with their mortgages.
What about your local TV reporter? Would you help him?
You know, a coffee, maybe even lunch.
That's better than nothing, I guess.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Nick Cernkovich is here with his first look at the forecast, and our early taste of spring has come to an end.
Yeah, it has, Mike. At least by tomorrow it will. Temperatures today hit 7 degrees. Now, not a record, but still very mild for this time of year. I'll show you the averages coming up in just a little bit. But here is a look at what we saw through the day today. Now, temperatures slowly dropping tonight to about the 0 mark. This comes under cloud cover, and we're watching a system that's pushing up from the south. It'll bring some light snow flurries or snow, depending on where you are, and continued flurries through tomorrow, and then another system as we head into Sunday. So it'll be a tale of a few systems moving through the GTA in the next 5 days. For the next 24 hours, 0 degrees tonight with flurries, 2 degrees tomorrow with about trace to 2 centimeters of snow. We'll give you more details on that and time it out for you coming up in just a little bit, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Nick. As you saw on the National, there are concerns here and around the world about a risk of a direct confrontation between the United States and Iran after that U.S. airstrike yesterday that killed the top Iranian general. Here in Toronto, many Iranians held a rally in North York, while others are keeping in close contact with family and friends back home. Angelina King spoke with some of them today.
سلام اقدس جان چطوری؟
Mayor Dod Arianejad has been in close contact with family in Tehran. His cousin is telling him she couldn't sleep after learning U.S. airstrikes killed Iran's top general. Arianejad says while opinions differ on that, one thing remains.
Everybody is worried, I think, these days. Because the possibility of another war in the Middle East is really scary.
He says it's upsetting that Iran lowered its own reputation to the point the U.S. would take such drastic action.
Since this regime has come to power, our passport, the Iranian passport, has lost its value. The Iranian currency has lost its value. And I think, unfortunately, there are many warmongering officials in power on both sides.
Arianejad's cousin tells him she's not as worried as some about a potential war, but
درسته. So she says, there are mixed feelings out there. Many people are scared to express their feelings.
Regime change in Iran by the people of Iran. But these people are not. Dozens gathered in North York this afternoon in support of the airstrike that killed Iran's top general.
As soon as you hear that he has been eliminated, obviously you feel relieved.
I think they're going to get worse before they get better.
Ali Dod Mafi Nezam says he doesn't think a third world war is next, but he is afraid a societal collapse could be. He says there's more than 100,000 Iranians living in the GTA, many of their families back home already struggling with poor living conditions.
Because we're a country made up of the world, tension in the world is something that becomes a domestic matter for us because if you have relatives, if you've grown up in a country, if you're from a country, you're going to feel that these kinds of tensions and the misery of people there is going to affect you.
As for Arianejad and his relatives back home, he hopes for liberation.
Iran hopefully becomes a very stable country in the region who can help bring peace to the region. This is my only hope.
Experts say the question now becomes how can countries like Canada step up to help the people of Iran, given our ties to both countries, our proximity and trade with the U.S., and the amount of Iranians living in Canada. The GTA has the second highest Iranian immigration population in the world. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
And you can find the very latest on the attack and the fallout online. Just head to cbcnews.ca.
It's a passion, it's a lifestyle, I love it. I want to change the community, one person at a time, so I believe that martial arts gives the kids, gives the adults a great stress release. It builds character.
After the break, teaching more than just karate. We'll take you to a studio giving parents peace of mind by letting them pay what they can. A small Toronto karate studio is trying out a very generous model. It's pay what you can, so anyone who wants to take part can. The owner's goal behind it is to change his community near Weston Road in Rogers, just one kid at a time. Talia Ricci takes us inside.
Up the stairs of an unassuming building in Toronto's West End.
Now, ready, set, and go. Very nice. Where's the kid?
A group of kids is learning self-defense while gaining self-confidence.
4, encourage your partner to be successful. 5.
The vast majority of kids who come to us to begin with have all been bullied. Even myself, I joined martial arts when I was in high school. Why? I was bullied when I was a kid in high school.
And throughout the years, hundreds of kids from all backgrounds and abilities have come through these doors and made their way up the ranks of different colored belts.
I have a brown belt with a stripe on it. School is so tiring, and I just come here and have a break and enjoy myself.
At a price that's accessible to everyone.
Everything is by donation only. There's box at the door. We ask for $10 a class. If you can't afford $10, put in what you can. If you can't afford anything, please come join us and train.
It's nice that it's for anybody that, can't afford that much. And it's a good job that you're doing this, right? You give whatever you want, which is good. I like it. It keeps kids off the street.
1, and push down. 2.
The man leading these classes has trained professional MMA fighters, karate champs, and RCMP officers. But it's the kids he has a soft spot for.
It's a passion. It's a lifestyle. I love it. I want to change the community, one person at a time. So I believe that martial arts gives the kids, gives the adults a great stress release. It builds character, humility, and something I love doing.
A passion not lost on the kids.
He's funny. He has all of these things prepared for us every single day. He doesn't run out of ideas. It's amazing.
Or the parents.
It's like a second father to all these kids.
This little dojo has been operating in this location for the last 6 years, and these classes happen 4 times a week. Anyone is welcome to attend. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, snow is in the forecast for the first weekend of the year. Nick is back after the break with a look at how much and when we could see it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
Meteorologist Nick Cerkovich is back with his extended forecast, and the first weekend of the new year could see some flurries.
Yeah, we'll actually see some flurries and probably some accumulating snow into Sunday evening, which is a change from what we saw over the last couple of days with the warm weather. Now, I'll just briefly touch on the warm weather here. Again, these are the averages for this time of year. So normally the high is minus 1.5, the low is minus 9.5. This is what we had today, 6.6 degrees or 7 degrees, and the overnight low last night, 4.6 degrees. So very, very mild conditions. That's changing though. Colder air is moving in, and with it, we've got some snowfall and snow flurries across the GTA. By tomorrow morning, you're going to see it. More so down around the St. Catharines area, Niagara region, a little bit less so as you get closer to the city of Toronto. That moves out, tapers to flurries throughout the afternoon and cloud cover, and then into Sunday morning, generally dry conditions, a few flurries possible. But here on Sunday morning, I think we'll see some sunshine before yet another system. This is a clipper, moves through the region, and that's going to bring with it another 1 to 3, maybe 4 centimeters of snow across the area. So this is round 2 of what we're watching. Monday clears out, and then round 3 comes in the long range on Tuesday. With the system we're watching tonight, this is broadly speaking what you can expect here. However, because temperatures will be up around 2 degrees, a lot of this stuff is going to melt, so I don't think we're going to see much sticking around on the ground by tomorrow afternoon. For tonight, wet flurries or just flurries across the region, 0 degrees, and then into tomorrow, 2 degrees is a high, and again, continuing flurries across southwestern Ontario. Around the Golden Horseshoe, we're looking at temperatures sitting at about 2 degrees as we move through tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to come with some flurries that continue. And again, because it's 2 degrees, I don't think a lot of this stuff is going to stick. If we see any of it really accumulating, probably closer to around St. Catharines, Niagara. There's a look at your long-range forecast then. So trace to 2 centimeters tomorrow. Again, another 1 to 3 centimeters for Sunday, a break on Monday. And then Tuesday, another system that we're watching here. Now, the model's undecided on it, but there's a good potential here. We'll see 5+ centimeters of snow. As we get closer, we'll keep an eye on it.
And you know, Nick, Tuesday is Orthodox Christmas, so at least there'll be a white Orthodox Christmas.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nick.
You bet.
Do you have a show plate? No. Do you have any moving violations? No. Do you drink on the job? No.
Well, from mobsters to partying teens to the emotional journey of an African-American family, Eli Glasner goes through his top 3 movie picks of 2019. Coming up after the break. Whether you were a fan of drama, comedy, or action movies, 2019 had it all, and that made it a challenge for our CBC film critic to pick his favorite. So instead, here's Eli Glasner with his top 3 picks.
Yeah, we know it, keep going. I came straight up the stage up a glass door.
Excuse me. Oh, what? Oh. What? Missed ya.
I missed you. I missed you so much.
Been one night.
It probably won't surprise you to hear that John Hughes movies were a big part of my upbringing. I mean, Ducky. We all love Ducky, right? Okay, I love Ducky. And you could see Booksmart as kind of a modern update of that high school teen formula.
The last day of school. Are you kidding me, Samantha?
But there's so much more going on with this film. This is about 2 friends who've judged the high school crowd around them until one night they start to see who they truly are. And the beating heart of this film is that friendship between those 2 women, and one heck of a first feature from Olivia Wilde.
You ever show up late? No. Do you have any moving violations? No. Do you drink on the job? No. You ever hit anybody?
On a job?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, let's get this out of the way. The Irishman is long. It's supposed to be long because it forces you to spend that time with Frank Sheeran as he navigates his way in this world of gangsters and teamsters. And after all the blood and talk is done, what it's about is time ticking away as this hitman who took so much from others finally makes his peace.
I'm trying to give you the tools to succeed in this world. It's not easy out there. Everything I do is for y'all. Everything.
From Joker to Parasite, Hustlers, Knives Out, and Motherless Brooklyn, again and again for me, the theme of 2019 was the various ways we divide ourselves, whether it's shattered societies or souls. And that theme is present in my #1 film of the year, Waves. But here, the trauma is personal. It begins with a family brimming with potential. The father-son bond is strong, but too much is left unsaid. And in those spaces, that crack widens until utter destruction.
Come on! You pushed him! What a difference.
With a roving camera, a blistering soundtrack, and actors at the peak of their emotional range, Waves shows us a family torn apart. But then the next step, the hard part, the healing.
It's been hard, hasn't it?
Let go of a prayer.
The end, it's something the dad says.
All we have is love.
All we have is love. That's what it's about. The love. And that's what I loved in 2019. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Some good picks. Eli has been raving about the last movie for months now. That's our newscast for tonight. Tomorrow on CBC Radio 1, the return of an annual tradition, the Quirks and Quarks Listener Question Show. Host Bob McDonald and crew answer the top science questions from listeners across the country, including, is the water at the bottom of Niagara Falls warmer than it is at the top of the waterfall? You can hear that answer tomorrow at noon. I'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. Good night.